My name is Shefie Ennanova Shefie. I was born in the village of Cuisine. When I was 8, I started going to school there. The school was Crimean Tatar, only Crimean Tatars studied and taught there. Here in this photo you can see the lesson is in the mother tongue. Our teacher Alim. Should I say the names of the children? Children, all children are Crimean Tatars. This is the teacher, this is me, this is all the neighborhood children, all the children from our village. Here are their names: Zakiya, Safan, Fadmi, this is Shemzai, and this boy is Sharif, and Ahmet, and this girl is the only Russian girl. Her father was a Crimean Tatar. She was called Nina. Yes, her name was Nina, she studied with us. It was a mother tongue lesson. In 1941, when the war started, my mother was left with 4 children. My father was taken to the front. We, the 4 children, stayed in bed. We were in bed. Daddy kissed us, hugged us, and left. A month later, my younger brother died. He was 2 years old, and there were 3 of us left. At dawn on the day of deportation, the soldiers came and all of us were woken up. 5 minutes for you to get ready. You will be evicted, they told us. My mother was confused. We got up. The children started screaming. Everyone was crying. I was the oldest in the family, and my mother told me to take some of our things. We started from the trunk. We had a couple of bags. Yes, and there were a few meters of fabric. Take this, my mother said, and put it in your bag. Wherever they take us, we'll sell it, we'll get food, it'll save us. I took the cloth, a 3-meter-long cloth, and just wanted to put it in my bag, but the soldier snatched it out of my hands. He unfolded it, looked at it, pulled and tore it, took off his boots, pulled the cloth over his feet, and I couldn't say anything. Then they started to shout, "Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up." So we could not take anything. We took only the younger children and went out. We were immediately loaded into the cars with other people. Then they sent us away, sent us away. They put us in the cattle cars. There were children, old people, sick people inside. If old people were dying, they weren't buried properly. They were just thrown out of the wagons. That's it. Children were hungry, crying. There was nothing to eat. One woman had a daughter in her arms, and the girl got sick and died. This woman then, not knowing how to hide the baby, kept it by her chest and held it as if the baby was asleep, a dead baby. That's how she got to Uzbekistan. The dead were carried out, but she was not touched. That woman went with the child, and when we got out of the wagons, she gave the baby to someone to be buried. We were deported to Uzbekistan, to Tashkent region. We were taken to a brick factory, where we were divided into collective farms, and we ended up in the Cavern collective farm. But the houses were bad, shacks, 1 house for 2 families, 1 house for 2 families, and we all lived there together. Yes, there was no stove, there was nothing. The Uzbeks stoked the fire and sat near it, while we stood in a group. There was nothing there at the time, in wartime. Yes, it was hard, a tough time, but what should we do? I never saw my dad again. I haven't seen my dad since the last time he kissed me in bed in 1941. And my mother took us everywhere, 3 children, and also her little brother. There were 9 children in her family. Each of my aunts took one of the younger children and looked after them. Imagine, and we took my uncle, he was with us. They worked like everyone else, and despite my age, I also worked in the field. The 2 youngest children stayed home, and Mom and I went to work. Then there was nothing to eat. They gave us a couple of kilograms of flour, and we ate it. There was nothing. They gave us bread, 300 grams. At 3 o'clock at night, my friend Shefika and she was my next door neighbor, and the two of us were queuing up at the cannery. At 3 o'clock, we took a queue and took 300 grams of bread. We took it, brought it home, shared it at home, and had a snack. And if you don't go early in the morning, there's no bread, nothing. And then things got a little better. And we all survived. We started studying there. We went to school. I was my mother's only daughter. I was a rosebud. I was an unopened rose. Opened and wilted. I was an unopened rose. Opened and wilted. I had a dream last night. Our house was ruined. I secretly from the whole world fell in love with a young man, but the world found out about it. I secretly from the whole world fell in love with a young man, but the world found out about it.
Açılmagan bir gülda edim, açıldım en soldum. Açılmagan bir gülda edim, açıldım en soldum. Beni bu gece bir düşta gördüm, evimiz uyuldu. Annemden gizli bir yerde sevdim, alemge duyuldu. Annemden gizli bir yerde sevdim, alemge duyuldu.